everybody, my name is Hope and welcome back to my channel. I like musicals, they're a big part of my life, and today we're going to be talking about the time I was in High School Musical, the musical on stage. No, this video is not clickbait. I have indeed been in High School Musical, the musical on stage. If you want to be really specific about it, I've actually was in the musical twice. I did it in March with my high school, and then I did it in November with my youth theatre. And in high school I played Gabriella, and then in my youth theatre I played Taylor. But we're going to be specifically talking about the time I did it at high school because it was well and truly character building, and I feel like people would want to hear about it. Also, yes, I am holding my phone as a microphone, and yes, it is on charge. Are we judging me? No, we're not. So, before I get into this video, remember that you can like, subscribe, follow me on social media if you fancy doing any of that. It's on the screen, it'll be in the description. If you're interested, go do that, why not? But yes, let's talk about the time I was in High School Musical on stage. So I was in High School Musical on stage, which is the actual title of the show. It's not called High School Musical the musical, it's not called High School Musical, no, it's called High School Musical the musical on stage. That is the full name of the show. I think I want to say 13, almost 14. For people who aren't English, year 9 is the third year of high school. So you do high school from 11 to 16, I'm pretty sure. And so this is like Prisoner of Azkaban times. This is where we are in regards to high school. So in order to get a full effect, I'm going to give you a little background on my experience with doing school productions in high school. So this was technically my first school show. I had auditioned for the school show in year 7 and got in the ensemble, but ended up dropping out because because I had to get picked up from school, and because the rehearsals were after school, I was 11 years old, stood in the dark by myself, which wasn't really the safest thing, so I ended up dropping out. I also just hated it. There was that too, I'll be honest. It was not fun, so I dropped out. And that meant that basically all of the drama teachers at my school hated me. They just held a grudge on me for no reason, and I was like, why is this so deep? It's really not, but they saw it as deep. Anyway, it meant that I had to spend the next 2 years of my high school career trying to get the drama teachers to like me, because it was about one of the only subjects I was good at the time. So in year 7 they did Bugsy Malone. I was in the ensemble, but then wasn't in the ensemble anymore. In year 8 they did We Will Rock You. I just didn't flat out audition for it because couldn't be bothered. And I was doing shows with my youth theatre at the same time, so it was also really busy. When I was in year 7, I want to say I did Grease with my youth theatre, and then year 8 I was doing Oliver. Didn't have massive parts in either of those, but I was also doing that, so I was doing theatre. It wasn't I wasn't doing any theatre. Anyway, so year 8 didn't do the show, but did join drama club and became one of these ambassador things where I didn't actually do anything. I just got a badge and made myself feel cool, and I was one of those kids that had a ton of badges all down their blazer lapel, so you can tell that I was really cool. But yeah, so basically year 8 was the year that, even though I didn't do the school show, I worked for my teachers to like me, and they did end up liking me a lot more. And then we get to year 9, where I do audition for the school show, and it's High School Musical the musical on stage. So let's talk about it. So I was not massively popular in school. I was very much on the lower end of popularity when it came to my high school, and so I'll be honest, a lot of people didn't really know who I was, nor did they really care about me whatsoever. I was on a few sports teams. I was on the netball team, I was on the athletics team, I was on the hockey team. I think those are all the teams. Oh, I was on the rounders team, I think. I was on the rounders team at some point. It gets a bit flaky, and I don't think about high school a lot. Anyway, for the last 2 years, I think, 2-ish years, the year 7 and 8, the main characters have been played by the same people. They did We Will Rock You the year before, and the 4 main characters were big deals in our school. I still remember their names: Anna, Sarah, John, and Harrison. And those are the 4. And everyone was well, it's so obvious that they are going to play main characters. Everyone, that was just what everyone thought. I just went along, and if I'm completely honest, I didn't even think I was going to get into the show. Even though I went to a school where pretty much everyone did get into the show, didn't even think that I was going to get in. I really didn't, because I just still thought that they didn't like me. So I go on to the audition. It's after school. I'm with my friends who have been in the shows already. They've already been in the first 2 shows. They're experienced, and I'm there what the hell am I doing? Why have I decided to do this to myself? So we do an acting. I think the first one we did was an acting piece where we basically got put into groups and we had to like design a school scene or whatever. I actually don't remember. I just remember being there, but I don't actually remember what we physically did. And I basically did nothing. That's what I remember. We did this scene and I think I said about 2 lines and said nothing else. And I was like, well, this is great for me. I'm doing so well. And also, I was one of those kids who, oh my god, I was such a loser in high school. I'm not even joking. Like, the week before, we were doing like this is totally unrelated to this High School Musical audition, by the way. We did like a piece in drama and I was like acting like Sharpay in my drama thing so that my drama teachers would see it and think, oh, maybe you should go for Sharpay. Oh, I'm so embarrassing. Anyway, flicking back to the High School Musical audition, that's what I remember. There was an acting audition and I did so bad. And then I think we did singing next, but I think, again, I was stood next to this girl and her name is Lola, and if she's watching this, hey, don't think she will be, but that was her name. And she was in my year and everyone knew like she was a singer, like people knew her for that, and like she ended up going on The Voice Kids at one point when we were in high school. Anyway, sidetrack. So I was stood next to her and everyone knew that she was like the singer of our year, and so she sang and it was like, great, whatever. And then I had to sing, and like no one knew who I was. Like, people in my year just did not care about me because I was so irrelevant. But I sang, and then the teacher was like, cool. And I was like, cool. And we moved on. Like, I was literally nothing special. Then we did a dance audition, and let me tell you, the dance was not that complicated. Like, it was giving this actual choreography from the show. And I was just kind of like, cool, whatever, moving on with my life. Hashtag not that deep. So it's the next day, we're waiting. It's like America. Like, my school does it like America, where they have a big list of recalls that goes up on the drama board, and you have to see if you're on the drama board to see if you've got a part. And I could very well be remembering this wrong, but this is the way that I remember it in my brain, and therefore this is the way I'm going to tell it. So I look on the list, and I'm not on the list. And I was like, cool, whatever. A couple of my friends were on the list, like for recalls. You didn't get recalled for a specific part, you just got recalled. And I was like, oh yay, cool, well done, like, great. And I didn't get recalled, and I was like, that kind of sucks, but you know, like, I wasn't expecting anything. And then later in the day, I get stopped by a teacher, and she just comes around the corner and is like, hi Hope, and I'm like, hello, and she's like, are you free for like the recalls after school? And I'm like, yeah I am. She's like, can you come please? And I was like, okay. And then I walk back down and like my name is like written on, like it's a word printed off Word document, and at the bottom is my name and someone else's name. Lola was the other person added to the list. We go to the recall. Sorry, this is such a terrible story time, but it's a story time nonetheless. Anyway, go to the recall after school because everyone's given like a partner, like a reading partner, and because a lot of them are like the opposite sex, so it's like Troy and Gabriella, or Taylor and Chad, or Ryan and Sharpay. So like people are like paired off and are like asked to do different sides from the script. But because I was added on like last minute, me and Lola are like a pair, and that's like cool, whatever. But she didn't really like me, at least I didn't think she liked me, and she was way too preoccupied with this guy called Toby, who's this other guy in my year who I had never spoken to before because he was in the other half of my year, and also he was popular and so was Lola, but I was not, so I was not part of that crowd. But my friend Sophie was partners with Toby, and then I was partnered with Lola, just for that reference. So people are going in and out one by one. By the way, all the people who were like leads in the show last year also recalled, so I'm like, they're gonna get all the parts. Everyone's like, yeah, they're gonna get the parts, and we're just here for whatever reason. So we're all in the music room and we're going over these sides, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why am I here? Because I don't feel like I should be, and everyone's coming in and out and in and out, and people are just waiting around. So I go in with Lola and we do our sides, and it's fine, it's whatever. And remembering this, it's all coming back to me, and I'm like, oh my god, what a life I led. So they basically are like, cool, and they ask me to stay in the room with the recall, and I was like, okay, what the hell is going on? And they ask, oh, this is really bad, like this I feel like is so mean. They basically asked Lola to leave, get Toby and bring him into the room. Hello, this is Editing Hope. I'm aware I look like a mess. We are just gonna have to deal with it. I actually realised I misremembered what happened, so I'm gonna have you watch the clip because everything is pretty much the same. There's only one slight difference, which is I was not in the room and asked to stay. What had happened is me and Lola did our audition. I left. Lola stayed in the room and Toby was brought in, and then Lola was brought out to bring me in, not the other way around. I just remembered that I misremembered that and wanted to tell you the actual story of what happened. So Toby comes in, we're like really awkwardly like, hi, because we don't know each other at all. And they're like, they get us to read the signs again, I'm pretty sure. And they're like smiling like creepily. And we're both like, okay, whatevs. And then they ask us to sing. I want to say they got us to sing the reprise, the It's Hard to Believe That I Couldn't See that one. What I've been looking for, reprise. They asked us to sing that. And they were all smiling like the Cheshire Cat. Like, it was creepy. Like, they were smiling like they looked like they were about to kill us. It was kind of scary. And they were like, okay, thank you. You can go now. And I was like, okay, bye. So I left. And honestly, at the time, I didn't really think much of that. I just thought this was a really weird experience. Because obviously, I was so convinced that the people who got the leads last year were going to get the leads again, because that was kind of the way it worked. And also, like, Harrison and Sarah, who were like two of the leads, they were like the Troy and Gabriella of like our school. Like, they were just so Troy and Gabriella coded that everyone thought they were going to get it. But I think it's like then 2 days later, because this has gone over the course of a week, from like Tuesday, and so like Tuesday was the auditions, and then Wednesday was the recalls, and then Friday was like the cast list, and the cast list came out and my name is on Gabriella, and I'm like, what? And then Toby's name is on Troy, and then I'm like, double what? Especially because all of my friends got ensemble or like small parts, and I'm just there like, huh? Because everyone's also kind of jealous, and like I don't blame them, because I would be if I was in that position, if I've been in the show every year and then I swoop in and then get it first time. Like, I get it. But Harrison and Sarah get Taylor and Chad, and then Anna, and I want to say his name was Nathaniel, but I could be wrong. They play, Nathaniel's also in they're in like year 10, they're year 10s and 11s right now, and they're trying to go there. And then John, who's the other main, plays Coach Bolton. Here is a picture of me, if I find it, and him. Really random, anyway. So people in my school low-key start to hate me. Well, I get 2 questions asked. One, are you and Toby gonna pull? Because it's high school. And I was like, no. We did have to kiss for the show, but it was weird. Anyway, and the other question was, what was the other question? Oh, it's me again. I remember what the question was. It was, why did you steal the part from me? Because I genuinely had at least 3 people say that to my face. Like, people in my year were like jealous. Like, some people in my year were like, you stole that part from me. Like, they told me I was gonna get the lead and you got it and you don't deserve it. A lot of people just had not very nice things to say about it. And honestly, I was like, okay, thanks. You didn't need to tell me that, but you did. But things go on, right? So, like, we're year 9s. Also, I was taller than him, which I think is hilarious, but I thought I'd mention it. But it's like our whole year is like trying to push us together. Not to date, obviously, because we weren't friends and we never talked to each other. But it just became so awkward in our year because everybody was talking about it, that we were Troy and Gabriella and whatever. And also it was weird because everyone else in the leading cast was older than us. Like, we were like 13, 14. Most of the cast is 15, 16, which doesn't really seem like a big difference, but in high school, and especially British high school, there is a big gap there. But, you know, things went on. We kind of like, we were still just awkward and stuff. Like, we were not naturally, like, natural chemistry. Like, I have, like, a filmed copy of the show, and it's, like, there's one bit in Stick to the Status Quo where he has to hold my hand and I have to stand on a table and get off the table. Literally, our hands are not touching. They're like this. It's ridiculously bad. But it comes to doing the show, and we're in show week, and everyone's talking about how we're gonna kiss, and it's really not that deep, but obviously it's high school, so everyone thinks it is. And we're doing the show. And so I'm just gonna talk about some fun things that happened whilst we were doing the show, even though that whole backstory feels like there's going to be some like climax to the story when there's really not. Anyway, obviously being a solid 13, 14 years old, my American accent wasn't quite as eloquent as it is now. Like, I can speak in my American accent for you. I don't know if you think it's any good or not. Actually, on my TikTok, people thought I was American because I did like a series when I did an American accent, and when I spoke in my actual British accent, people were like, oh my god, like, you're English, you're not American. So actually, I don't know if it is good or not, but as a 13, 14-year-old, it was not good. It was borderline Southern American at times. And essentially there's this one bit in the show where they're like, it's the secret phone call scene where Troy's like, oh my god, like, I'm here for the team, like, Gabriella can go suck it. And she hears this. And basically she goes, I don't remember the exact lines, but all I remember is it ended with, "Me either, goodbye." And I could not say it like a regular human being for the life of me. And it became a running joke between me and like the older cast. Like there was a mic check where Anna, who was playing Sharpay, did it for her mic check because it was funny. Also, I had the inability, I don't actually remember if this was for when I played Gabriella or when I played Taylor, but I could not pronounce the word pianist properly. You could probably guess what it sounded like. There's also like the song Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, which is the cringiest song in the show, and nobody can tell me otherwise, where it's the beginning of Act 2, and it's on like the rooftop where just after like people have been like hit with pies in status quo, and they sing the song and it goes, "I can't take my eyes off of you, I know you feel the same way too." Cringy. It's so cringe. And I just remember that scene because I think it was maybe the second night of doing it, completely blanked on stage, was like, I don't know. And we did manage to save the scene, but it meant that the next day, because I was so paranoid, I wrote, I think it was the word camping on my hand, so that I wouldn't forget it. And I almost did, but then I didn't. Woohoo. What other fun things happened? Oh, there was this scene. It's the basketball scene where they're playing basketball in like the gym and Gabriella's like shooting hoops and she's supposed to be really good at it. And while I was on the school netball team, I was a defender. I was a wing defence, which if you know anything about netball, does not shoot in any capacity at all. And I was a bad shot. I mean, I found out I'm dyspraxic now, so it makes a lot of sense. But my hand-eye coordination, shocking. And I think we did either 4 or 5 shows, maybe including the dress rehearsal. And I think I made it about twice. And the following line is, "Wow, you're really good at shooting hoops." I was not good at shooting hoops. One time I almost hit someone in the audience. This is like not a funny story, but it's actually quite a nice one. I remember there was this rehearsal that we were doing where we were learning. It was either Breaking Free or the reprise of What I've Been Looking For. It was one of the two of them. And we were singing and we were doing the harmony and it sounded so nice. And I just remember my 14-year-old self being like, "Oh my god, harmony, that sounds nice off the bat." But then I just remember that Toby kept forgetting his harmony, so I had to keep reteaching him his harmony. But we got it in the end, so it was fine. I feel like I'm missing loads of like fun things that happened, but this is a school production and I was a child, so you have to think this was like 6 years ago at this point, so a lot has happened since then. Oh my god, it's me again, remembering more random things about this show. This is just such a small one, but genuinely, if you've read the script, The High School Musical, the musical on stage, it's criminal. Genuinely, one of the first lines in the show is, "She was the hottest little snow bunny on the slopes. She was so hot, the slopes turned to slush." I just remember that because who wrote that and thought it was a good idea? Not me. I remember we had to do this green screen photo shoot. I want to see if I can find it. Hopefully I will, and I'll put it on the screen. If you pay really close attention, or if it's not there, sorry. Because I was taller than him, they actually shift me further forwards on the picture to make us look more the same height. And also for some reason they put him in joggers that were way too big, so we had to roll them up at the bottom. And I just think that was really funny. I also remember basically like we weren't really taught stick to the status quo other than like the main tune. And if you know the musical version at all, I don't know if you actually would, there's a bit where basically Troy, Gabriella, and then like Zeke, Martha, and I actually can't remember what the skater guy's called, but they sing like an alternate line. And so I learned the alternate line, but obviously I was 14 and no one's fact checking that what I'd said was correctly. So we just kind of every night sang my interjected version that I just kind of taught everyone, even though it was really wrong. Because I was just that nerdy as a kid. But I tell you one strange thing about this like musicals at my school was that like you are kind of seen as cool for doing it. Like the popular kids would do it, like the popular girls and the popular boys. What I found funny is the popular girls never got the parts ever, and the theatre kids, well, a singular theatre kid, which was me, got the part. So win for the theatre kids in my year 9 production of High School Musical. But I don't know if I actually have any more things to tell. I remember my mum baked cookies for everyone once. That was fun. That was for the dress rehearsal. But yeah, it was just so strange because especially for me, it was like, obviously I'd never done a show before. And fun fact, I didn't do any after because when I was in year 10, all my drama school teachers got pregnant. So we did like a section of mini plays and I did get like a big part in the mini plays, but we didn't actually do a main show. And then in year 11, they asked me if I wanted to play a part and I said no. They literally went, Hope, you're not auditioning. And I went, no. And they said, you could play this part if you auditioned. And I went, no thanks. Fun fact, it was School of Rock. And the part that, because they wanted me to play the headmaster, but I didn't want to play her. I wanted to play the Ned Schneebly's girlfriend because I think her song is the best song in the show. And obviously they were like, yeah, you can't just pick and choose the parts. And I was like, that's so true, but I'm not auditioning anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, being a year 9 and having the main part was like so weird because like it just doesn't happen. Like, I feel like if you speak to people from other schools, it was like the older you get, the more like main parts that you get. But for me, obviously, I was just in year 9 and I wasn't even expecting to get into the show. And then not only did I get in, I got the main part, and it was just a really weird experience. And it also definitely put my name on the map in my school because people actually knew who I was, but also people resented me for it as well. Like, I did feel bad for some of my friends because they literally auditioned every year and then never got the parts. But kind of looking back on it now, it makes sense because, not to say that I was more talented because I was 14 and who's really talented at 14? Not many people. But like, my friends are doing like science degrees or they're at Cambridge and Oxford or like doing like languages and stuff, and I'm here doing a musical theatre degree, so maybe those drama teachers knew something, who knows. But it truly was a humbling experience, like doing this choreography, all of this together. Well, like doing that and then having like confetti pour down on the audience and like being in my school, also me almost tripping over up the stairs because like I said, I'm dyspraxic, and then almost falling down the stairs in a blackout because it was literally a blackout. Like, it's a memorable experience and it's truly character building to think that I put myself through that and everyone just saw that as normal. But I think that's honestly all I have to talk about. Like, this was such a random video that I've just decided to film of me literally just talking about the time I was in High School Musical, the musical on stage. I'm sorry it was so wayward. Like, it's literally just been me speaking to a camera for half an hour, ranting about all the things that I remember doing when I was at school. If you'd like me to do this for any more of the shows I was in, as I was in many, I will have to say that some of them might be short because for shows like Grease and Oliver, like I said I did, I had very small parts in them. I guess I had kind of a bigger part in Oliver. But if you want to hear this for like other shows I did, like please let me know because I can actually talk about them because I remember them. I want to thank you for watching this video. Like it if you like it. Don't know why you would like it, but you might. Subscribe if you feel like it. And I'll see you in the next one.